Hello, my lovelies. It is time for my SeasonAthon Week 1 vlog, so stay tuned. So I had every intentions of vlogging from the first, but life just kind of got away with me. On the first, I pretty much spent the entire day, I think, editing and computer stuff. And so it really wasn't anything worthy of vlogging. And then yesterday was another day where I uploaded a video and I set up the lives for today or the live show for today. And I had to take Einstein to the vet because the poor little guy has ear infections and he's got allergies and stuff. And holy moly, was that a bill. Jeez. He had to do all his yearly stuff too while we were there, so that was fun. I think that was pretty much the extent of what I got done yesterday. I haven't started reading anything. Today, I need to do some stuff around the house. Maybe I'll show you what I'm doing. I do plan on later this afternoon, after the sprints and stuff, maybe giving you a tour. Somebody asked for a tour of this house, that one we're moving out of. So I thought maybe this afternoon I could do that. And it's not necessarily an empty house tour because we still have all our furniture and stuff. And there's still a little bit of packing left to do. But yeah, I can give you a tour. I think that as far as reading goes, I have an audiobook that I want to listen to while I'm getting some work done. So for my English 2050 nonfiction, I had selected On the Hippie Trail by Rick Steves, and I have the audiobook for that on Libby. So that's what I'm going to be listening to while I'm doing stuff around the house. This says, stow away with Rick Steves for a glimpse into the unforgettable moments, misadventures, and memories of his 1978 journey on the legendary Hippie Trail. In the 1970s, the ultimate trip for any backpacker was the storied Hippie Trail from Istanbul to Kathmandu. A 23-year-old Rick Steves made the trek, and like a travel writer in training, he documented everything along the way, jumping off a moving train, making friends in Tehran, getting lost in Lahore, getting high for the first time in Herat, battling leeches in Pokhara, and much more. The experience ignited his love of travel and forever broadened his perspective on the world. This book contains edited selections from Rick's journal and travel photos with a 45 years later preface and postscript reflecting on how the journey changed his life. Stow away with Rick Steves on the adventure of a lifetime through Turkey, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, and Nepal. You know Rick Steves, now discover the adventure that made him the travel writer he is today. And I like his travel books, so that's why I selected that one. Plus, it's a short audiobook, so I think I can actually get that one knocked out today. As far as physically reading, what I'm going to do during the live reading sprints today, which is in a couple of hours. This book isn't on my TBR because I kind of forgot about it when I was filming my TBR, and I'm hoping that I can find somewhere that it can fit for SeasonAthon Academy. So my friend Rachel that lives across the street from me has a friend who wrote a book, and that friend was coming through town to visit and stopped at my house and gave me a copy of their book and signed it for me. And I have a clip from meeting her and letting her tell a little about her book. So I'll include that here. So I am here with my friend Rachel, who has brought a friend to see me, and this is her cool little mobile she's got going on. She has a book out, and I thought I'd let her tell you a little bit about the book.
Hey, I'm Naomi Hales. I'm author of Humanity's Hope, True Beginnings. It's Alien Vampire book. It'll be a series, and this is the first edition. And I'm giving it to my friend Melanie here, who is going to be a sweetheart and review it for me. So y'all stay tuned for her review and get your copy today.
Yeah, I'll probably try to make this part of my SeasonAthon Academy TBR. Wish me luck.
So this is Humanity's Hope, True Beginning by Naomi R. Hales. And I can't remember what she said in the clip, so I'm just going to read the back here. This says, have you ever wondered where vampires came from, who they are, and why they do what they do? Did you know Dracula and Van Helsing are half-brothers? Were vampires on Earth before humans? Take a journey from the beginning of time and meet the first vampires. On your journey, you will encounter lies, secrets, betrayal, murder, and devastating decisions. With vampires running amok, humanity's survival looks grim. Enter Verbelladon, an enormous predator fashioned to kill the vilest beast that ever walked the earth. With massive fangs, robust thumbs, spiked tails, and sharp claws, these saber-toothed / dire wolves will help destroy these bloodsuckers in massive battles. However, vampires are not the only threat humanity faces. There is a witch among them. In the beginning, Nevaeh is only a conduit for evil power. Later, she finds a way to harness power of her own, making her the world's first sorceress. With power, speed, and agility, a vampire called Azrael teams up with Nevaeh, seeking to overthrow humanity and take over the world. Will they succeed, or will Azrael's son end the reign of terror? So, I'm going to be working on physically reading this during that time. There is a map here. Oh, and there's a phonetic key, I guess, for like all the names, which that's handy. So this is what I'm going to be reading during the live reading sprints today. So let's see what we can get accomplished today. Fingers crossed it's a lot. She gave me a copy of her book, and I told her I would try to read it this month. But she understands things are crazy. I'm moving, all that stuff. But I thought that's what I would work on in my sprints today. So it is called Humanity's Hope, True Beginnings by Naomi R. Hales. And there's like vampires, werewolves, I think gods, goddesses, sorceresses, all that good stuff. So very curious. Also, I have cute little school nails. They look like chalkboards. How stinking cute are those? I'm really hoping that this is going to be good. I forget who she had read it. She actually had, it was like a big name author. I can't remember who. And they told her that it was really, really good. And they were looking forward to reading more. So I'm hoping that I enjoy it. I got to page 21 of Humanity's Hope. I have to say, so like the preface was kind of intense. There's like a line in here. We don't know who, like from the beginning, we don't know who's talking. But they're like talking, I guess, directly to the reader. And it's just talking about like what's going to happen between them and their brother, and that they have to stop their brother to save the earth. And in chapter 1, that's really all I got through. I just started chapter 2. It's still that same person, and they're like walking through this devastated area, and it talks about like their bare feet. My bare feet are covered with both blood and remains. I feel chunky pieces of flesh between my toes, and I briefly dream of the reprieve I will enjoy after cleansing my body from this battle's fallout. Like that was a little, oof. But then after a few pages, it gets into like going back to like before the beginning of time. And it kind of gives like a mix of scientific and biblical history. And I'm actually really enjoying it. It's interesting. So right now we're pretty much hearing from the perspective of Satan. I'm also currently, like what I was doing this morning, is pulling about 50 million staples out of his wall, because he hung up like things out of like comics or whatever, like this size. all over his room and used many staples, many staples to put all these things. And he was like covering his walls with it. And all those staples are still in the wall and making nice little holes, or not so little holes, trying to pull them out. So that's fine. His whole room's gonna have to be like redone. He had LED lights around the ceiling and on the bookshelves in his room. And when he pulled those off yesterday, it pulled the paint off the bookshelves. So I'm gonna have to repaint those. Their carpet's disgusting, so I'm gonna have to get new carpet in there. A lot that has to be done before we can sell this house. I really hope that this book stays on the same path that it's on right now, because I'm very much interested. But if it goes back to the stuff that I'm sure it's going to eventually go back to the stuff it was talking about in the beginning. I hope it's done in a way that I enjoy, because I was kind of like at first. So we'll see. So I got to page 35. In this, before God had created Earth, he had created a different planet called Zerona or something like that. And when he was distracted, I guess, by other things, things kind of went awry on Zerona, and the sun, like there were 3 suns, and it became too much for the people, the Zeronians, and the people, like their skin was being burned and stuff from the suns, and so they had to like live in the darkness, and we couldn't go out in the day and things like that. And so God created Earth to take the Zeronians to, so they'd have a better place, because that planet was pretty much no good anymore. And so he created Earth, and then they were still having to like live in a cave during the day. Like they could be out at night, but they still would have to like be in a cave. And they were like not happy about that because they wanted to be able to be out in the sun and stuff. And so as like a way for them, like their contrition, their punishment, they had never eaten meat or tasted blood. And the way for them to be able to walk in the sun would require them to drink blood. And so he created Adam and Eve pretty much to be food for them. But then, like, you know, he loved Adam, and he was like, this is not a good idea. I don't want him to like be eaten. I'm enjoying it. I'm definitely enjoying it. It's interesting. I'm excited. I'm glad that I'm enjoying this book. I am. I was a little worried at the beginning, but yeah, it took off very quickly, and I'm happy about it. So Adam and Eve ate the apple and had to face the consequences and all that. And God explained to them that, you know, the Zeronians, what's going to happen with them, but that they're not allowed to start feeding on humans until God has given them permission. But first, they're going to like populate the earth and all that stuff. And Adam and Eve just got it on for the first time. I'm enjoying it. It's fun. I got to page 50, or actually to page 51. Oh, I did make myself some coffee. I got my coffee here, my little Bangkok Starbucks mug. I'm getting a call from Spam Risk currently. The phone number is 111-111-1111. Should I answer it? So I have a Keurig machine, and I was looking on the Keurig website the other day, and they have this, it was something I pre-ordered, 24 cups of fall faves. It's like a little advent type thing. You open it up and you got all this. So I just had the first one, which is Green Mountain Coffee Roasters Pumpkin Spice. And there's like assorted coffee, tea, and hot cocoa, beverage mix, and apple ciders. So number 2 is actually Mott's hot apple cider, which I might have this evening as well because that sounds delicious. Hold on a second. I don't know who, but somebody already got into my box because I noticed when I put my thing in, there was a pod that I didn't recognize, and I just saw the name of it on here. So somebody's actually already been into this. They took number 13 out, which is lame. I got to page 64. And I don't know how I feel about what transpired. So I mean, I guess this like is how they're explaining the population of Earth. So it's like, okay, Adam and Eve got sent out of the garden, right? And they started having children. First off, it was like they did their thing, and then literally the next morning her belly was swollen with child, like the next day. But they're like, okay, they're gonna have all these kids, and eventually God's gonna tell them when to pair up their children so their children can procreate. But they're not supposed to do that until he says. And they're like, okay, Cain wasn't the first one, the firstborn. He was just the firstborn son. Before that, they had 6 daughters. The first daughter they named Nevaeh, heaven backwards. And God had also told them, like, once there's enough population, these Iranians are going to be feeding on them. And after Nevaeh was born and stuff, they're like, can we please protect at least her? You know, she's our firstborn. And so every generation, there's supposed to be like somebody that's protecting, like holding this information about the Zeranians and being the facilitator between the two and like communicating with them. So that like the whole of humanity is not like afraid of these guys and they're not supposed to like know about them. And so in here, God's like, okay, I'll protect her and she'll be the facilitator. But here's the deal. You have to sleep. You have to lie with Nevaeh. When I tell you to, when she's like of the age or whatever, you're going to lie with Nevaeh and father her children. And he's like, I don't want to do that. That's my child. Then I was like, okay, well, not only will I protect her, but I'll protect her whole lineage and they will be the facilitators. And so he's like, okay, I guess. And so that night he goes to Nevaeh. She's not happy about it. She's repulsed. He's repulsed, but they do the thing anyway. And then it tells like apparently that she's like in our time would be considered 12 years old. I'm like, yeah. But then it goes forth and like she has 70 children. But also they lie about who the father is. They say it's Cain, and we know how that goes. Yeah, it's interesting, but yeah. So it is nearly 6 p.m. and I haven't gotten a huge amount of stuff done with the house because I did have the sprints. Let's see. As far as my audiobook goes, I got to 32% of it. So also, like, let me just say, as far as that trip went, like, that would be an absolute nightmare for me. Like, the crappy places they stayed, the uncomfortable sleeping arrangements, the terrible bus rides, essentially being hijacked to the point of, like, they crossed the border and then the bus driver was like, okay, we're going to charge you this much more or we're going to turn this bus around and take you back across the border. Things like that. Like, oh my goodness. Like, I don't see how this encouraged him to continue traveling. But maybe it gets better. Maybe. But now I need to get to doing some work around the house. And, oh, I also need to give you the little tour. So let me do that. Hold on. Okay, so I'm going to start with upstairs and all the way on one side, which would be our master bedroom. So let me turn this camera around. So coming in, this is what the bedroom looks like. Let me give you a full look around here. And then over here is our closet. So let me close this door. This is my side of the closet. And then this is Marty's side of the closet. And then I think this is maybe meant to be like a nursery or something, but it's like on the other side of the closet, we have this like little bonus room. There's windows behind that. But yeah, it's just a little bonus room. I kind of use this as a storage area. And then turning around and going this way, we have our bathroom. So this is my mess of a sink. And then we got the tub. And then there's Marty's mess of a sink. His is not as bad as mine. And then in here, we have the shower and toilet. And then let's head out of the bedroom. We have all the dogs. So this is the hallway. So right here we have the other bathroom. So this is essentially the guest bathroom or the boys' bathroom. And they got their shower here. Hello, Snickerdoodle. And right across here is our guest room. So, Xander's pillow. So these are the shelves that I had all of my like 4 and 5 stars on. So this is the guest room. We've taken all the art down and stuff, but I had all my like Thomas Kincaid Disney princess pictures there. Big window. And then I have to put the bar back up when we take these shelves out. But these are the shelves in the closet in the guest room where I had all my lower priority books. And we go out of here. And then this disaster of a desk where I've been piling everything up lately. That's my desk. Then we have, well, this is the office. So we have all those bookshelves, closet full of monsters. And then over here we have our little monster mini fridges and Marty's desk. Hello. And then in here, this is all rearranged right now because we're taking stuff down, but this is the boys' Murphy or Xander's Murphy bed, but we took it off. It was on that wall over there, and so the mattress is just on the floor right now. But this is, or was, the boys' room. Everything's just kind of piled up on top of stuff right now because we were trying to clear the floor. But this is what I have to deal with. You see all those staples? I have to fix all that. They're all over. It's so bad. And then their closet. This is what some of the staple removal looks like. Okay, then we have more dogs. Dogs. Okay, going down the stairs. So, looking out from up here into the foyer. Dogs. So this is the foyer. I gotta fix this little curtain rod. The dogs have pulled on it, but everything's just piled up everywhere. Then we have our dining room, which the table is currently piled full of stuff. That piece of art actually has to go in my car because it wouldn't fit in the boxes. It's too big. And then we have, this is a closet where I was keeping all my unhauled books, and it's also where all the dog food is and cat food. And then we have our living room. That's another big piece of art that I'm gonna have to carry in my car. And then come in here and we have our kitchen. Let me turn the light on. So kitchen. Again, another table with stuff piled all over it. That's like our pantry. And then in here, we have our laundry room. Dogs. And over here we have a half bath. That's pretty much all there is to it. And here we have the garage, which was filled with boxes. I've been working on going through all that. And then over here, we got these like barn doors going to the sunroom. We got a cat tower there. We feed them on top of the cat tower so the dogs don't get their food. A little cat door. And we had this thing. You see my door looks like it's open, but it's not. We had this thing custom made so that it goes in our door and it closes at the top and the bottom. And it's also made so we can actually lock the door there. But it has a doggy door on it because we didn't want to like get new doors and we didn't want to cut into the glass or anything to make a doggy door. So that's what we did. But this is the sunroom. This was also like mine and Xander's classroom for a while. And then it became like a craft room. Then we got the back deck. And the backyard. I gotta trim some weeds. And then we got the pool there. Yeah, that's our backyard. The dogs are just following me everywhere. So that is the house tour. Yeah, it's a nice house, but it just doesn't seem to really work for us, yeah, as far as space goes. It's a beautiful house when it's not an absolute mess like it is right now, but it is a beautiful home. It's just we've figured out that we do need more space. I want more space for my library. You know, we've got 2 boys living with us. Granted, they are adults, but they've been having to share a room here, and so they're on top of each other constantly because of that. And we're gonna make, at the other house, we have a basement that we're gonna kind of turn it into like a small apartment kind of thing for them. And then eventually we think Marty's parents are gonna come and live with us, and so they'll have a room there, but we'll still have a guest room there. And I don't know, that house is a bigger house, and it's a cheaper house than this house. So I think we're gonna be happier in that house. So I'm glad we actually still own it. And now that the renters are moving out, we can take it back and sell this one. So now I'm going to head back upstairs and continue listening to this book and work on pulling out more of those staples. Yay. Yesterday I got some good work done with pulling staples. I sanded everything. I filled all those holes. It was a lot. It took me the entire day pretty much. I did get a little bit more work done in other places of the house, but that was like the majority of what I got done. So today Marty and I are in the car. We are driving up to Nashville, or a place just outside Nashville, because we're going to check out an RV. I probably won't film, us actually checking it out, because, it wouldn't be ours yet, and, the other person would be there and all that stuff. But if we do end up buying it, I'll, of course, show you all that. But we've got a long car ride up there. We're currently listening to it's called Not Another D&D Podcast. This is what Marty's been listening to, and I've kind of gotten into it along with him. It's funny. But as far as my books, yesterday I finished I think it's called Along the Hippie Trail by Rick Steves, and I think I'm going to give that one like 3.5 stars. It was really interesting to see, how this whole travel writer thing, travel guide, started for him. So, he was doing this whole trip, and he was 23 at the time. And before that, I think he said he was like a music teacher, like a piano instructor or something like that. And throughout his travels, he was writing in this journal. And he wrote pretty much like 1,000 words a day in this journal. And by the end of the trip, he had like 60,000 words. And he stuck the journal away and didn't really think about it too much until way later. But that trip and writing about it and all of that stuff was like the start of him wanting to be a travel writer. And he stopped doing all of the music stuff and all of that, and focused on all the travel things. And he put this journal away, and during COVID he actually came across this journal and decided to create this this book here. And he does say it that at the beginning, kind of disclaimers or whatever, that some of the things 23-year-old him may have written in this journal, because he tried to keep things, exactly like the journal entries exactly as he wrote them back then. And he was like, they might not be as culturally sensitive back then as he would be now, but he's trying to remain honest to his what his 23-year-old self wrote. But I did enjoy it. That sounds like a cool trip. However, the hardships that they face does not. And I'm all for, budget friendly and, finding the cheapest, whatever, to an extent. Yeah. Not to the extent that they did, though. No. And then I started listening to Clapping You Land by, is her name Emily Acevedo? I know the last name's Acevedo. Anyway, I think I'm about 75% of the way through that one. I probably won't listen until, yeah, well, if we buy the RV, I might listen to it while I'm driving the RV back. Otherwise, I probably won't listen to it until like this evening or even tomorrow. Yeah. So, won't have much to update you on that. But I will come back and update you later on if we got the RV or not. So we drove freaking forever, and we obviously I'm not driving an RV right now because the pictures were a bit deceiving. When we got there were things that you couldn't see in the picture. For one, the people had taken out everything they could take out of the RV, like mattresses and things like that, mattresses, TVs, whatever, and they wanted to upcharge to include those things. And he told me like there's a backup camera, and then when I got in to test drive it, I was like, where's the backup camera? And he's like, he pulls this thing out from under the dash, and he's like, oh, here, it's this little aftermarket thing. We've never actually used it. So he plugs it in. It doesn't work. And there was also like, it had obviously been in an accident, which they didn't disclose, and it had been duct taped over. And yeah, there was a lot of things that either hadn't been disclosed or were not shown well in the pictures, and wasted our day. Yeah, so that sucks. So no RV today. We're now driving home, and we're gonna continue listening to Not Another D&D podcast. I highly recommend this, guys. It's, if you like D&D, or even if you don't like D&D, or like you don't care one way or the other about it, they're really funny, and it's entertaining to listen to. So I definitely recommend checking them out. But we're gonna get to listening to that and go home. So I didn't read anything at all today. We've been busy working. Here's the current state of how things are. Let me show you around a little bit. Hold on. Okay, so here's what the foyer's looking like. Here's the dining room. Here's a Kathy, or as we call her, Mama. It's a living room, and all the dogs hanging out in here. Also, Marty took our projector and stuff off, and the little cord covers, and this is what happened. So I'm gonna have fun fixing that. Yay. Let's see. Here's the state of the kitchen. Most of the cabinets are empty. And then how the sunroom's looking. Sneaker. This is how everything in here is looking. We mostly did stuff downstairs. It's also chilly, so I got cozy. I also made myself a cup of hot apple cider from, I don't know if I ever showed y'all in this. I did show you in the live show, but it's this Keurig 24 flavors of fall, and this was actually supposed to be day 2. Oh, that's so good. It's like the Mott's hot apple cider. But it is pretty late. It's like probably close to 10, I'm guessing. And I have to edit this vlog because tomorrow I'm actually going to be doing my coffee exclusive vlog. So I get to stay up for the next couple of hours trying to edit this vlog so that I can do that tomorrow, while also packing and all of that good stuff. So wish me luck. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye.